When you hear about America, you might think of freedom, democracy, and progress. But did you know that this land was once home to great civilizations before the settlers arrived? Did you know that what is now the United States was once inhabited by millions of Native Americans who were wiped out and had their land stolen? This is not just a historical tale. It is one of the most horrific genocides in history. How did it all begin? How was America built on the ruins of entire civilizations? Today, we uncover the truth. Before the Europeans set foot on the American continent, there were already thriving civilizations, established societies, massive cities, advanced political systems, and rich cultures. Have you ever heard of Cahokia? It was one of the largest indigenous cities in North America, with a population of over 40,000, more than London at the time. Native tribes primarily relied on agriculture, and they had a flourishing economy. But these civilizations had no idea about the danger approaching from across the Atlantic Ocean. In 1492, Christopher Columbus set sail in search of a new route to India, but instead stumbled upon the New World. At first, the Native Americans welcomed the newcomers with generosity and goodwill. But Columbus and the European explorers did not come for friendship. They came for golden land. Within a few years, the Europeans began enslaving, killing, and looting the indigenous people. But the greatest catastrophe was the deadly diseases they brought with them. Native Americans had no immunity to these foreign diseases, and by the 1600s, millions had perished. Thriving villages turned into ghost towns, and the once living land became an open field for the taking. By the 17th century, Britain, France, and Spain had begun establishing their colonies, and the settlers expanded further into Native American lands. With their growing numbers, wars erupted, the first being the Pequot War in 1637. In this war, the Pequot tribe was nearly annihilated, marking just the beginning of centuries of massacres and forced removals. Did you know that the US government forcibly removed over 100,000 Native Americans from their lands in what became known as the Trail of Tears? They were forced to march over 2,000 kilometers under extreme conditions, and more than 4,000 perished along the way. As America expanded westward, settlers seized land through a series of unjust laws, such as the Homestead Act of 1862, which granted 160 acres of land to any white person who lived on it for 5 years. When gold was discovered on native lands, their lives turned into a nightmare. The US Army launched new extermination campaigns, clearing indigenous people from their homelands and forcing them into barren reservations. Today, Native Americans still suffer from economic marginalization, extreme poverty, and high unemployment rates. Although their ancestral lands are now home to major cities and billion-dollar corporations, they remain confined to reservations, far from the wealth that was stolen from them. In recent years, activists have fought to recognize historical crimes and reclaim some land. But is that enough? Can centuries of genocide and theft ever be truly compensated? What do you think now about the founding of America? Is it truly the land of dreams? Or was it built on the bones of millions of innocent people? Tell us your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more historical truth.